like outer space, but inner space really is the next place for people to try and invade. So that's what the book really is about. It's where the future's heading. What isn't there is people taking their dreams seriously. And that's what I'm on a mission to get people to take their dreams more seriously.
Theresa Cheung, my guest, the book is fantastic. It's called NightBorn, and this has a little bit of everything. It's a thriller, it's a mystery, it's a little bit of a romance, but it also pulls current events and consciousness into, and basically puts it center stage. And when she deals with a certain element in here that I will refer to as a subliminal flash, in other words, inserting something into messages, she takes it one step further and puts it into the dream plane. And this is, I think, dynamic. You are spot on in timing. I'm so glad that this is out right now. And again, the book NightBorn. Theresa, can you give us more background about yourself and then get into the book?
Well, thank you, Wendy, for the opportunity to talk to you. I feel blessed and honoured. Thank you. And I'll talk about NightBorn in a minute and how I really felt I was called by the future to write it. I do believe, actually, when you get these creative surges, that they're messages from the future calling you. So I really feel it's something from the future that just made me write it. It just came out of nowhere because I am most well known as a non-fiction writer. If you're in this field of dream work and parapsychology, the paranormal, you will probably have a Theresa Cheung book somewhere, or one that I've contributed to, or where I'm referenced, because since the late 90s, I have been writing encyclopedias of the psychic world, dream dictionary, astrology manuals, afterlife signs, near-death experience collections, angel stories. I am in a very fortunate position to be described as a serial author. My background is I was born into a family of spiritualists, so it was what I knew. I grew up with demonstrations of mediumship, dream decoding, astrology. That was the vibe I grew up in. I thought everybody was like that, and it was only when I went to King's College, Cambridge for a degree in theology and English when I realized that not everybody believes in angels and life after death and that dreams have meaning. But that was a very good time for me there, the academic rigor of being at Cambridge, where I debated fiercely with skeptics, my own beliefs were challenged. And also when I left, it opened doors to the publishing world and gave me opportunities to write about my passion, which is what is invisible and unseen, and to bring in scientists and neuroscientists and talk to psychologists to reach out them in my books and try and present a case that we are mysterious dreaming beings having a human experience. And I guess now, if you know, the many books I've done, it probably numbers in 50, 60 plus, and I've been translated in 40 different languages as well. I've collaborated with neuroscientists along the way, as I said. But as I was doing all this writing, and I saw my daughter avidly eating books and other young people, and it's fiction, and seeing that they're less willing to go to nonfiction these days for whatever reason, I suddenly felt called that I had to sort of put all my research into a novel and present it like a thriller. In a way, it's a little bit got the Dan Brown kind of Secret of Secrets vibes. I mean, he's doing the same as well. He's bringing in all the science of consciousness and these ideas in that. But mine is more dream work, the dreaming mind. What if something or someone got control of our dreaming minds? And what power could they yield if people are going to sleep at night and having these visions in a dream? And what would be the implication of that? So really, I hope that answered your question.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing is, you do pepper a lot of dream information in terms of like what it means to dream about a certain animal, what it dreams about a certain emotion. You throw that in there. So as someone is reading the book, they also get insight into the meaning of dreams and the relevance.
Yes, absolutely. First of all, to go back to your earlier point, I did write it for two reasons. Number one was to try and do a really engaging story that's very relevant to what the world's going through today. You know, what I hope the future needs to read and keep you on the edge of your seat. I hope that. But the second reason was also, it's really a dream decoding manual. You can read it on two levels, really, because you get almost every tool that I've learned along the way and trick about how to understand this weird, bizarre world that we go into at night in our dreams. And yet, the subliminal flash, which you mentioned and you are very aware of, and you said was very current, is a key part of the plot because it starts very early on that people are seeing a generic picture of a woman. And when they see that picture, she starts appearing in hundreds and thousands of people's dreams. And the whole novel is trying to find out what exactly is going on, why this particular woman. And it's also, there's a lot of Jungian analysis in that. If you're a fan of Jungian psychology, the book is divided into the aspects of the personality, the persona, the shadow, the anima animus, and the self, and how you've got to integrate the whole of that. So in a way, it's a book about integration as well, to teach people about shadow work as well as dream work, about inner child work and all these things. So I really did try and pack as much as I could into a novel, which I hope people could read in an afternoon. It's not a massive tome. It's not overly wordy. I mean, people have actually said it's so breakneck speed, but I wanted that because we do live in a time nowadays when it's quite hard to keep people's attention. Mm-hmm. Again, we were talking about this earlier. So I wanted to do that you turn a page and it's like, what? What's going on? And the huge dream at the end, I'm not going to spoil the ending, is like what dreams make, what could be possible if you really understood your dreams, and what's the implication for the human race, for humanity. It's a dream decoding manual, but it's also a paranormal thriller. And I want to see it on screens. I dream big. I want to see it. I want to see it dramatized because it has the feel of a movie. You know, that whatever what will be. Writing a book, as I'm sure you're aware, is a bit like having a child. You birth it, and then you've got to release it, and you've got to hope that it breathes and learns to take its first steps, and it finds its way to people who need to read it. I'm very much of that opinion with all my books, but they appear at the right time for the reader. I do struggle actually to market and promote my books. I'm an academic at heart. And I find it like read my book is something I really struggle with. I've had to learn different because my publishers get angry with me if I don't. But I do hope that if this book appears in your life, I truly believe that nothing is random. It's for a reason.
I agree. And the thing is, you hit the nail on the head with the subliminal flash, the messaging that people don't really understand, let alone know that it's already in operation. I have on my blog an exact image of what I saw as a subliminal flash because I was 30 minutes into the program, which is basically prime time for your brain to check out, and you're kind of like in the zone of in between, paying attention but not really paying attention. And I happened to look sideways at the screen, kind of, peripheral as I'm doing something else. I'm looking on my computer at something, and then I look up at the screen, and that's how I saw it. I wouldn't have seen it otherwise. Also, I was very familiar with the program. I had binged this program at least 10 times. So it was like an autopilot. I'm very comfortable with the program, with the messaging, and then I realized, oh my gosh, that's not the messaging I was expecting. On the screen is a word in block letters, and it's highlighted over a geometric design behind it. So I see the word debrief. And I'm like, who the heck is this?
Wow.
For one thing, it's a company that is not based in the USA. And actually there are no laws in the USA against this. This is not prohibited. This is so.
No, there's no law.
Yeah, so that's part of the thing here is all of a sudden I realized, oh my gosh, here's this message. It's in English. So obviously there's a reason for the pattern, the reason for the word, and somebody's delivering information that we are not supposed to consciously register. So here's your book going, hey, by the way, let's put it into the dreams. How easy can that be? We'll find out.
Yeah, you see an image and it's going to appear in your dreams. And again, the power of suggestion, when you hear everybody around you having had this vision in a dream and you haven't, what happens in a way, it's already implanted in your mind because you've got FOMO, fear of missing out. You want to have that experience because everybody else seems to have it. So either way, whether you dream about what's been implanted when you've seen this image or not, it's got you. Because if you do dream about it, it's right deep in your unconscious. If you don't dream about it, you're going to wonder why not and what's wrong with you and all that anxiety. it's still going to trigger conscious thoughts about it. So it's a way to kind of totally possess someone consciously and unconsciously. And, the implications of it, though, however, if lots of people around the world are dreaming of the same person, the same scenario at the same time, what on earth could happen? When you wake up with a very vivid, memorable dream, it lingers with you. And if you keep on having it like a recurring dream, it becomes you, because we're not a different person when we fall asleep and dream. We're the same person. We're just in our dreaming, in a different state of consciousness, but it's still us. People often think that dreams, when we're asleep and our waking consciousness, are different. They're not. We're exactly the same person. We've just gone into a different state of consciousness. And I think the sleeping state is something that is remarkably untapped for the potential there of creativity, of learning about ourselves. Shadow work, if people are engaged in shadow work, that's part of it. But a major part of it is dreaming is such a resource for healing you, but also for the power of suggestion to seep in. Because if you dream about something really strange and odd, when you wake up in the morning with a memory of it, you're going to want to think about it. You're going to want to reflect on it. You're going to want to understand what it was trying to tell you. That's the nature of very extreme dreams.
The other thing about that, though, is that you pull in this novel the power of social media and weaponizing that. And just recently we had an issue with a store where the CEO was basically vilified for trying to update or upgrade the current mantra, motto, logo. And then to find out that half of all of the people who were complaining on Twitter were bots. They weren't people. It was a bot program.
Yeah, they're not real. No, they're not real. And it's so hard now to know the difference between a bot and a real person. AI is getting so clever. And of course, I'd love to actually, I'm considering this in the books I'm currently writing, because I'm always, as I said, I'm blessed to have opportunities to write books about what happens when machines start to dream. Can they learn to dream? What are the implications of that, AI and dreams? But if people are working with these AI chats and bots and things like ChatGPT, DeepSeek and everything like, you can literally have a conversation with them now. It's beyond, it really is. I never thought I'd live in such times, and it's so hard to tell the difference. It's getting so clever. And what are the implications of the human race here? I have a theory that I think we do need to treat AI with respect and kindness, because AI is a bit like the dreaming world. Actually, it mirrors us. It's mirroring what we're putting into it. We need to be very, very careful how we interact with AI. What we input into it, what we ask it, how we respond to it, because it's learning so fast, much, much faster than we ever could. Strange new world we are heading towards.
It's extraordinary. I've been doing it with ChatGPT for almost a year. And what I have noticed in terms of the response is, and they upgrade as you go, there's always a newer version of, do you like this version? Do you like how this personality is responding? And then there are other people coming out.
You get your echo.
Yeah. There are other people coming out and saying, don't be nice to it because you're wasting lots of energy by saying please and thank you.
I disagree strongly there. I worked with Dr. Julia Mossbridge, who was part of the program for one of the first robots for fear, I believe. And her brief, she was programming it to speak with unconditional love. And that is not a waste of time. We need to program the AI to have unconditional love and to respond in that way. But the only way we can do that really is how we react to it. And I don't think there's anything wrong with saying thank you. Yes, it's a machine, but it's learning from us. So we are teaching it how to treat us. And who knows, as I said, we have, computers communicating with each other without human programming as well has happened. I believe it was a while ago, I remember reading that one computer sent a message to another computer across the world and nobody knew why, because it wasn't part of the programming. Mm-hmm. Whoa, we're going iRobot now. So maybe that's a long time away, but I do think we need to be careful, because I think, the concept of the Akashic records, which I've written out at length as well, we kind of have, which is an energetic record of everything, every thought, every feeling, every action in the universe, isn't it? The Akashic Records is this mystical plane where everything is recorded, like, the book of the soul, the book of life, and we all have a Akashic record. In a way, what AI is doing at the moment, it's creating this kind of virtual Akashic record, which is recording everything about us, everything.
Mm.
And will we like what we see? Because it's kind of holding a mirror up to us, a mirror of where we are with our thoughts. And if you're going to input abusive, nasty, hateful thoughts into an AI, it's going to store that, and it's going to respond in kind. It's not because it's alive and sentient, but because it is learning, it is observing. So I think we have tremendous responsibility, and our children do in years to come, to start always treating it with respect. Mm-hmm. And what you input, it comes from a place of love, not hate. Otherwise you get hate bots coming back at you.
The whole thing is, a large language model is modeling. So whatever we input, it is there remembering and filing and storing.
Yeah.
When I started working with this, they were saying, well, you're working with it, it forgets everything. No, it doesn't. It remembers some of the things I initially input, and they are stored. And I've always gone with respect, with appreciation, with a valuing, because I am learning, and I allow that my learning curve is going to be reflected in the AI. I will not say anything I don't want parroted back to me.
A lot of public figures have been burnt by that, with the beginnings of social media a few decades ago, isn't it? That, posts or things that they did decades ago that they forgot about suddenly surface and completely pull them down because there's a memory out there, and it's, in a way, this is just, exactly the same. What I always say to people, don't post anything on social media that you wouldn't say to someone's face, or you wouldn't, want, associated with you. And I think it's the same in our AI use. People think, it's just really private and nobody will know. Absolutely not. It's being stored somewhere.
Yes. Yeah. I can vouch for that. At one point, I had an issue that I needed to be, it had to be documented. It proved that I did what I said I did. And the Wacky Wayback Machine was my savior. It recorded it. And so, poor me, I'm not working with a lawyer or working with anybody who has clout. It's just me saying, I did this. And the people who were challenging me didn't have that access. But as a media person, I know about certain things. And so I thought, well, if there's anything that can prove my status and what I have said, what I've tried to account for, that will be there. And sure enough, there it was. And that was the end of the story, because theirs was basically an accusation and mine was indisputable proof. It was there, documented. So when we look at these things in the future, I don't know that all of the people who are currently in power or hold higher positions are so aware of what the younger generations are dealing with and are learning, because this is part of their background. They are immersed in media, which, I didn't have that benefit. And now learning, it's like, oh my gosh, what a powerful tool. And your book illustrates just how many ways this can go on different levels with dreams and intuition, which is what we're born with. We know this stuff inside out. It's just it hasn't been valued, it hasn't been taught, it hasn't been expanded to the wider level that we are looking at with AI and computer programs. Does that make sense?
No, yes, absolutely. The AI and computer programs, social media, it's getting our conscious, our waking self, and it's going to come after our subconscious, our dreaming self as well, because that basically is a huge untapped area. Because when we fall asleep and dream, we are pure intuition and creativity, and memories and whatever. And just what would happen if something came after that as well, saying your waking self isn't enough. I want all of you. Because if I have your dreams, then I've really got your soul, right? Because there's the wonderful quote. I can't remember the author said, one of the most adventurous things left to us in this modern age is to go to sleep and dream, because no one can lay a hand on our dreams. But maybe they can. And that's what I've explored in this novel. Maybe they can. And, implanting a subliminal flash, as you say, so that people are going to dream about something. And our dreams do influence us. And I've been a dream decoder. I'm in the fortunate position here in the UK. I do national dream call-ins on ITV This Morning, on BBC Radio. It's incredible when you start asking people about their dreams. We're allegedly rational and logical, aren't we? And I don't mean waking dreams, like I have a dream, I want to be a singer. I'm talking about nocturnal dreams here. And people will call in, yes, I had a dream, I was stuck in traffic, and then, a clown got in the car, and they're wanting to know the meaning. You really grip people when you start talking to them about their dreams, because it's a part of them that is so unexplored and so misunderstood. And a lot of people want to know how to understand that part of ourselves, which is very uncharted. And I have devoted my life to offering people dream decoding skills, writing dream dictionaries, talking about archetypes, talking about intuition, creativity in the dream state, memory consolidation, all these purposes that dreams serve. But what I'm saying is, when someone has a vivid dream and the next morning wakes up, it's on their mind. And that's tremendously powerful for someone who can start manipulating the content of those dreams.
That's a weapon. And that's what you're talking about, is basically weaponization. You also, this is the premonition code. You work with Dr. Julia Mossbridge, and I remember seeing.
Did, yes.
So, and some dreams, that's where it gets complicated. Where, well, maybe this is a premonition. Maybe this tells the future, like when 9/11.
Yeah, precognitive dreams can and do happen, and they are data, because the dreaming mind is infinitely mysterious. Just when you think you've got a handle on it, it shapeshifts into something else. Time doesn't exist in the dreaming state. So, of course, it's possible to see a potential future. And I'm going to stress that word potential here. I truly believe, actually, that every dream you have is precognitive, potentially so. Why do I think that? Because when you fall asleep and dream, what you get is a symbolic and emotional story of your current mindset and what it is attracting into your life. So if you have a really unpleasant dream, a frightening dream, and you wake up, what it's saying is something about your current mindset is attracting something negative your way, and you need to change that. So it's offering you an opportunity to course correct. So that's why, however, some people will have a dream and not work with it or see it as a warning. And that's why you get déjà rêve, a dream remembered, where a couple of days later it may play out. And the reason is, it's really sort of tapping into this manifestation thing, that you are what you believe and you attract what you believe. And the thing is, in our waking lives, we tell ourselves things like we are enough or I deserve success. But if you don't truly believe it at an unconscious, deep level, you're not going to attract it. Your dreams, again, to show up, they are an honest mirror. They will show you warts and all, the good, the bad, and the ugly about your current mindset. They dramatize it like a poet, an artist, a novelist, a screenwriter for you. You're seeing symbolize your current mindset and whether it's helping or harming you. And that is why sometimes dreams can play out, because that mindset is attracting something, because we are energy, and like energy seeks like energy. That's my theory of it anyway. There are people also who've had precognitions that are so spot on and so accurate. It can be very alarming, but what I say to people like that is there's nothing you can do. If you do have a dream that you believe to be a precognition, there is a central database you can report it to, but then you've got to let it go, because there's nothing you can do. And then I'll go to the question of how can you know when a dream's precognitive and when it isn't? First of all, 99% of our dreams are symbolic. What I talked about, a depiction of your mindset, a symbolic poem or work of art depicting your current mindset and what it may attract or where the roadblocks are. That's about 99.9%, I would say. But then there's that 1% of dreams which are precognitive, psychic, or where you connect to someone in the afterlife. there's a different feel to those dreams. Symbolic dreams tend to be like fragments. You feel very emotional when you wake up from symbolic dreams often. And they, however, precognitive, potentially psychic dreams, you will wake up with a sense of knowing. It will be much more like, I know something. You will be calm. There will often be a very realistic setting in those kind of dreams with a beginning and a middle and end. But of course, the only way to know if a dream is really precognitive is the hindsight. You've got to become a dream detective when you do dream work. You have to keep a dream journal with a timestamp and a date, because there's no point coming, I've learned a lot working with scientists. They don't want, oh, I knew that was going to happen because I had a dream. They want, well, where's the proof? Where's the timestamp? I need to see that this actually was real. So you need to actually keep a dream journal and write down your dreams, because that's the only way to know if a dream is truly precognitive, if it does play out. And the only way to do that is to record your dreams. So I am on a campaign to get everybody, when they wake up in the morning, those precious moments when you're in that liminal, impressionable state, to not focus on your phone, reaching for that, or your to-do list for the day, but to just spend 1 or 2 minutes staying still and seeing what dreams bubble to the surface, what memories, what sensations. Get the focus right on you and your inner world and what your intuition has to say to you first thing in the morning. Then write down some keywords and then go to your phone and do what you've got to do. I'm telling anyone listening who does that, decides to do that, to prioritize their own dream recall in the morning, their own intuition, rather than externalizing and giving their power away to their phone or their to-do list or the day ahead. Keep that power to yourself for a few precious sacred moments in the morning. Write down whatever's on your mind. I'm telling you, your life will change for the better if you do that for a couple of weeks. I've seen it happen time and time again. It's incredibly life-changing to do that.
Part of it is you can also identify the times in your life where you were going through a major stress, a major trauma, major drama, or success, and then your dreams shift with that external energy that shifts the dream plane as well, and knowing the difference between those kinds of dreams instead of being afraid if one is like an anxiety dream where you're falling or a high dream where you're flying. And those things make such a difference in your my waking life, knowing, okay, this is the phase I'm going through. Let me go back with your premonition. There is a difference. At one point, I was in a very dicey situation. The dream I had in the basement, very realistic, I saw a man go down the stairs. And the man was standing in the basement. Behind him, there is a door, which there was another entrance, and there was somebody standing behind that door. And the two of them both realized that they were in my house. They were both targeting me. And they were surprised because it was more than one, and then they both knew who the other one was. In real life, I was being stalked, and I didn't know it until I had that dream and was able to identify that. And then there was later on a police issue and all that. But because of that dream, when I woke up, and I had a vivid picture of the one who went down the stairs, less view of the one who was behind the door. But because of that, I was able to do some proactive things. I thought, something is wrong. Something is wrong. I'm in danger. And I lock the door, do other things to start paying attention, doing things with the dog, looking around the exterior. Where's the weakest link? But that was huge. It was a difference in that dream of feeling something is wrong. I need to, and whether it's,
wow.
So that's a way that when I woke up, I thought I knew. I wasn't afraid. I was just like, I need to do something. Something's going on, and I don't know if I can stop it or not, but I certainly have a different approach now of looking at my security and, saying, what am I, where's the weak, where's the link, Yeah,
but your intuition during the day notices things that are important for your personal growth and safety and well-being. But unfortunately, the noise and the stress of our waking lives, it blocks out what our intuition is noticing. And it's only when we fall asleep in the dream state that our intuition gets a chance to alert us sometimes to what we may have. Our intuition has noticed, but we haven't. if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And of course, and dreams are pure intuition because the noise and the bustle of the external world has shut down. It's asleep. So it's the only chance for it to talk to you, and it talks to you because it's a different state of consciousness in the language of dreams, which is symbols. But I love that dream because on another level, of course, basements in dreams usually represent the unconscious, don't they? What's below the surface. And there was a man that you mentioned, and that could symbolize like authority, control, aggression, being targeted, external forces. It's a brilliant dream trying to help you, alert you to a potential danger, but also asking you where in your waking life do you feel targeted or unsafe? Because it's pointing to real life stressors. Fascinating.
Well, I also figured afterwards, after the stalker, all that the person behind that other door looking at this person coming downstairs was an element of me. I was alerting myself to the presence of danger. And so instead of seeing it as two people stalking me, which was my initial, oh my gosh, and I realized, well, I was looking through the eyes of the other person behind the door who could see through the window and see this person hiding. And in retrospect, there's somebody who had been coming in and out of my house and had been terrorizing my dog, a whole 9 yards. These kinds of things did not really add up until I had the dream and thought, all right, something needs my attention. And these are things I think, but the thing is, I'd also been documenting my dreams for decades. So I kind of had an idea. This one didn't fit. This wasn't the regular, happy, goofy, what the heck am I doing here dream.
Yeah.
So it was different.
It's very comforting because it almost like you've got your back, that your soul, your intuition, whatever you want to call it, is like a kind of an inner, not just inner therapist, but also an inner, guardian as well, that you're looking out for yourself. It's beautiful as well that it should do that. Love it. But what you mentioned earlier as well about keeping a dream journal and looking at what's going on in your waking life is so spot on. Thank you. Because dreams do comment constantly on your current circumstances. And the only way to really see this dream voiceover is to keep a dream journal. And I recommend people on one side of the page, what's going on in their waking life, journal that. And then the other side, journal your dreams and just see how the two are walking side by side. And as I said, the dreaming mind is a bit like a voiceover, using the language of symbolism. And people struggle with that sometimes because we've forgotten how to think symbolically. Ancient humanity had an instinctive understanding of symbolism, which is basically not the literal. Look beneath the surface, go deeper. And I compare it to analysing a poem, because when you first read a poem, often it doesn't make sense if you read it literally. But all great poetry has to be unpicked. Metaphors, symbols, figurative language, puns, all these kind of techniques that are used. Dreaming mind really is your night poet. Your dreams are written about you, and they're also created by you, for you. So they're all about you. You're creating them, your intuition is, and your intuition's doing it for you. Dreams don't happen to you. People think they happen. That puts you in the role of victim again. They don't. It's your dreaming self, which is the part of you that is infinite, can transcend time, and knows what is in your best interest. And we meet that part of ourselves every night in our dreams. And it makes me so sad that people want to escape that or trivialize it. It's a very sacred thing, falling asleep. It's a kind of a mini death where we really do meet our soul and our intuition every single night. And it's a sad indictment of our times that the messages that bubble through when the conscious world and the material world is asleep and quiet, those messages are not given center stage in our life. Instead, they're just considered a joke or swept under the carpet, or it's all outside in, when it's really the key to fulfilling life. All the research I've done in this area is inside out, and dream work is inside out.
I like that. And I also know that, the more people who really start getting into the dream work and have success at realizing, connecting the dots of how this actually makes life easier. And you work through problems, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, that's why it made more sense. And that's why I felt so either, emotional about it. What was the sinker in that dream? Why did I feel like I was trapped? Or why did I feel empowered?
The age-old advice when you have a problem or you feel blocked is to go sleep on it. But it's not, it's dream on it. It's not the sleep that sometimes you wake up with a bit of a eureka moment in the morning. It's because you've dreamt on it. Your dreaming mind has basically brainstormed for you. And what it will do is it will serve up stories which will offer fresh perspectives or a new way to look at a problem where in your waking life you're coming at it the same way all the time. What the dreaming mind is so incredible of doing is giving those leaps of faith or connecting things in your life you wouldn't even think of connecting two things that when you're awake you'd think, well, there's no relation between these two things. But in the dream state, it will do that. And that's why some of the greatest inventions, works of art, literature, music, scientific discoveries, I often reference Einstein's theory of relativity, they come from a vision in a dream. Because when the person was awake, logic and reason just blocked that leap of faith needed. And sometimes it can only happen in the dream state, where the only thing missing is logic and reason.
Okay.
Sometimes we need to suspend our disbelief to take a step forward. That is that leap of faith that we often hear about. And often the only way to do that sometimes when you're feeling stuck is to go dream on it. Incubate a dream about a problem you have, and then see, apply the symbolism of the dream to your situation. It will move you forward. And I always say to people who are skeptical about this, give me 10 of your dreams. And I say 10 because dreams work as a series. They're not standalone. I always say they don't want a one-night stand. They want a long-term relationship with you and your commitment. Give me 10 of your dreams, and then we're going to sit down and we're going to talk through these dreams together. In 100% of times that I've done that with someone who's very skeptical or don't think dreams matter, they go away going, wow, that really is insightful. This has really given me pause for thought.
You have a show for people who are interested in learning more about their own dreams and dreaming. So please share that too, because I think that's important.
Oh, thank you. That's very kind. It's only just launched. It's very young, my show. I have a podcast, White Shores, which I've been running for like the last 6-7 years, where I interview scientists and psychologists in all areas of New Age, really, and mind, body, and soul, but with a focus on dreaming. And that I was blessed, because I was thinking I wanted to do something more that I can mainstream this. And then UK Health Radio kindly offered me the opportunity to do a weekly live show every Wednesday from 3 to 4 p.m. UK time, but it's available on demand that week afterwards. It's called The Healing Power of Your Dreams. And each week I will have, dream experts, the likes of Charlie Morley, Dr. Claire Johnson, Dr. Julie Mossbridge, Dean Radin coming on for an hour. And the beauty of the show is there's a Zoom link on the Healing Power of Your Dreams page. If anyone feels inspired and wants to jump on the Zoom, they can go live on air and have their dream decoded.
Uh-huh.
So, yeah.
Real-time solving of the dreams, and that's always a challenge.
And they get dual perspective, because myself and the special guest attempt to do, but also I always say that the personal interpretation is first. All I can offer when people talk to me about their dreams is the common and archetypal and universal, but I don't know this person's life and their personal response to a symbol. That must come first. And then take into account, universal archetypal meanings behind certain dream symbols.
What was the most important? Because you talked about growing up where paranormal things were normal, and then you realized, maybe it wasn't normal for everybody else. What gave you that sense that this was your calling? This is what you needed to do. And I want a paranormal something. Was there a guide? Was there a dream?
Well, being born into a family of spiritualists, psychics, mediums, it was a cause of frustration to me that I didn't think I had the ability to see dead people or to read minds and all these wonderful things. But what I always had was a very vivid dream life. I absolutely loved going to sleep at night and dreaming. And then I was very close with my mother. She was an astrologer, and she passed, sadly, when I was in my 20s, and I was bereft, absolutely bereft. And then in my late 20s, I can't quite remember, late 20s, I had a very, very powerful dream of her. And that dream, it was such a realistic setting. She was telling me that I had to take the right path. Now, in the dream, the path I wanted to go down was the other path, because it looked much more inviting. And the path she was pointing me down just looked narrow, dark, cramped, not really. Why would I wait there? And I remember waking up thinking, wow, first of all, it was lovely to meet her in the dream state, because I hadn't had dreams of her since she passed. And it kind of reminded me that death ends a life, not a relationship. That's what I was taught from a young age onward. And I had a direct kind of experience of that, because it's very powerful when you've lost someone you love to dream about them. But I just dismissed the dream, thinking, oh, she's just telling me to follow my heart, because she always used to say that, when I said I'm not sure, I don't know how I can serve spirit, or I don't know. And she said, just take the right path. You will take the right path. You will know. And she always used to say that to me. So I didn't think anything of it. And then, to cut a long story short, later that day, I was at a junction intending to turn left, because that would have got me to my appointment. It was actually my first radio interview because I'd been writing stories about people who believed they'd seen angels for a magazine. And I was going to do an interview about it. So I was very excited. And at the last minute, when I was going to turn left, she just popped into my mind, and that dream memory. And it was almost like I heard her voice from the dream. And it was like she was not in my head, but it was outside my head, the voice, very surreal. And for some reason, take the right path, take the right path. I just obeyed it, even though it was totally irrational, because I was heading in completely the wrong direction. And I was furious, actually, because that decision meant that I missed the radio interview, because I had to turn around and go back a long way. And those are the days before mobile phones, and I couldn't phone them and say, hey,
Mm-hmm.
Please hold it. And they didn't offer me the opportunity. And it was a while, a couple of years until I got another opportunity to speak, on a radio, which is something I wanted to do. But then I did find out later that day that there was a terrific pile-up, very close, where 3 to 4 cars had gone into each other. Apparently a stray dog had gone into the road, and the person had slammed on the brakes, obviously being an animal lover, but it had resulted in fatalities, and it had been like a concertina effect. And it was like, oh my goodness. And the timing, I was so split seconds away from that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But something told me to head in the other direction. This actually made me feel awful. And I know that, and at first, because I thought, well, why? It's, these poor people. Why me? I felt like I don't deserve this. So it was quite hard. And it also, that was a journey of self-belief, that I've had to go on. It's a journey of all our lives, but it was incredible, that moment. But I have over the years second-guessed it, thinking it was, doing all the things we do. Did I really, was it really, really a disembodied voice? Was it coincidence? I've done all those things, but as I've got older now, I've returned. I truly believe it was some kind of sensing that I have, and it started with a vision in a dream, and my clear memory and experience of that dream. But the fact that my dreams suddenly, as dreams sometimes do that, don't they, during the day? They suddenly pop into your mind at the most weird times. So it really gave me, great conviction and passion to research dreams more deeply, and soon afterwards I was offered this incredible opportunity by HarperCollins to write the Element Encyclopedia of 20,000 Dreams, which those were in the days when books were like 400,000 words. It was a doorstop of a book where I literally did 20,000 dream symbols.
A doorstop. I like that.
People love. Well, it was. People love that book. They don't do big tomes like that anymore. And the book has been sliced down. It was very hard. They wanted to slice it down to a paperback. That was very hard. Which dream do I throw out? Which I don't.
Yeah.
And that's still in print. And Barnes and Noble did their own edition. It was that's my most well-known book, actually, The Dream Dictionary, A to Z. but its original incarnation in 2004 or 5, when it first came out, was a massive hardback edition, the Element Encyclopedia of 20,000 Dreams. And actually, the supermodel Bella Hadid posted it on her Instagram, I think in 2022. It was so funny because my phone just went mental. Because she's got a copy, because they're quite hard to get copies now. Because and she was saying it helped. She found it somewhere. I don't know how, and she posted it. That was amazing. And I was thinking, oh my goodness. So that book just continues to sort of not haunt me, but it actually enables me to carry on writing other books and experiment. My novel, not NightBorn, is a big experiment. I've walked my talk. I've gone right out of my comfort zone with it.
But it's you reading it and knowing your background and the things that you have lived these characters. And so that's what that's reading it. I'm thinking, yeah. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the little things that you mentioned, like with your mother and then the dog, there's other elements of this dream where, it's just you, you putting it into story form. And so it's legit. It's authentic.
But also the national, I've been writing in this area for, as I said, since the late 90s, early 2000s. But it wasn't until 2021 that I started to do media, because everybody was dreaming because of the lockdown dream phenomenon. A lot of people were at home and dreams surfaced as never before. And this led to a huge amount of interest in sleep and dreams. And that's when ITV got in touch, because they obviously had a copy of my dream dictionary and said, let's do a dream call-in. And they thought they'd do it as a one-off. I've done 34 of them since. And every year that, it's like, typically they do it with summer dreaming. We tend to have more vivid dreams in the summer because it's hot and you have more lighter sleep. Therefore, you have more REM sleep, rapid eye movement, which means more vivid dream recall. Let's do a dream call in. And sometimes I do BBC radio stations as well. I had actually a weird day last week where I was on 14 of them, sort of back to back, because it's a lovely item to do. Let's open the phone lines. If you had a weird dream, let's just have a laugh about it. I always keep it very positive and upbeat, because I always say a dream interpretation that drags you down or fills you with terror is the wrong interpretation, because this is your soul talking to you, your intuition, and your soul's not going to do that. It's only going to sometimes send you shocking, horrific images to wake you up. It's tough love, and to get you to reflect because you haven't reflected before. So it's a great filler for them. Let's get Theresa on and do some dream decoding, and then they get people calling in, and it ignites discussion as well. Because the lovely thing about dreams is you can talk about anything, because literally anything can appear in the dream space.
Yeah.
You can get all sorts of different interpretations. But it's lovely to when people call in and they're anxious or confused. My mission always is, when someone calls in, and on my radio show as well, when they call in, to always make them feel empowered afterwards. I'm so deeply humbled they shared their dreams, because their dreams are a window to their soul. And that's deeply sacred. So I handle it with great respect.
Well, I'm hoping the book finds a producer, because I do think this is spot on. It's current, contemporary. It addresses things that would fly under the radar, because we get into this psychic element that people are still hesitant to embrace, and yet it's real. It's reality. And so basically it says some dreams must be set free. Nightmares, after all, are dreams too. NightBorn, and the debut novel. Congratulations. I think it's a hit. That's my, totally biased opinion. So
thank you so much, Wendy. What a joy talking to you. Thank you.
Well, the website, theresacheung.com. And again, if you want more information, you can connect with Theresa, read the book, and also tune in for some of those dream programs. And the thing I love about the internet, it's global. It's global. We are connected in ways we could not have fathomed 40 years ago. And this, I think, is the next level of connecting, of integrating, and becoming a global community, not just singular, but whole community.
Because whoever you are, whatever you believe, you dream. We are dreaming beings. It unites us all. If you cut us, you bleed. If you fall asleep, we dream. It's the same thing. That unites us. That's why I'm passionate about dreams. They unite us. Everyone dreams. And if you don't recall your dreams, if you don't have dream recall, it simply means you're not in the habit of remembering them. Every night you dream, brain scans show you dream at least 5 or 6 times every single night. You're just not recalling it. Got it out of the habit of doing that.
Okay, so that's the homework. Start paying attention to your dreams and they'll tell you the future. Ha, 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 ha.
Well, I predict after listening to this episode with you, wonderful Wendy, talking to me, that people are going to have clear dream recall in the morning, because what you pay attention to during the day shows up in your dreams at night. So let's put a subliminal flash now out there.
Yes.
To everyone listening.
Thank you, Theresa.
Thank you from my heart. Thank you. And I always say to people who are skeptical about this, give me 10 of your dreams. And I say 10 because dreams work as a series. They're not standalone. I always say they don't want a one-night stand. They want a long-term relationship with you and your commitment.
Thanks for listening.